Hello, welcome back to the table. So we're getting ready to start round 2 of Era 2. And I am realizing that after we resolved some of the issues there, we forgot to draw some provinces here. So like, for example, that one's coming out. And then there's one here. And there. So, as you know, my son was playing this game with us. And since he had a secession crisis and lost half of his territory, he's not back. So we're moving back to AI control for green. And so I'm going to say this very delicately. I believe so. My first setup video, I talked about how I was disappointed in this game, and I gave what I believed was fair criticism. I tried to back it up with why I believed what I did, but I always suggested that you should decide for yourself. I never suggested that my opinion was king. And I think those of you who regularly watch my videos already know that, and in some respects even appreciate it. I mean, I assume you do, otherwise you wouldn't come back. So I try to give, I've played games for years, and I'm probably well into the thousands in terms of number of different games I've played. I know my games, and I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I also know, and I will call out if something is cheesy in a game. So maybe it would have been fine in the 1980s, but it's not fine anymore. It's that kind of stuff, right? This is one of those things where my son bailed on me. So what do? The game's over, right? So this secession crisis is very thematic. Not having an heir to the throne is, I think, spot on in terms of thematic. There's not a single gripe about that. But from a gameplay perspective, the game is ruined because, well, it's not ruined. I'm going to continue. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. My players no longer want to play because it's that devastating to them. And it is possible it could happen to me. It is possible I could also lose the secession, crisis, go into a secession crisis as well. And so then I would be in the same boat, and then we would basically be all back at square one. But as it stands, I'm dominating the game. Some luck, some strategy. But it's largely because everybody else had a secession crisis except for me. And I hope you can at least appreciate that criticism of this game. Getting people to come and play a multiple-hour game like this one, you want players to at least feel like they're in the game, or at least if they're not in the game, they're still enjoying the process. My son is no longer in the game, at least according to his mind, and he's no longer enjoying the process, although he enjoyed it immensely in our first game when those things happened to me. So long story short, we're going to be going back to the 5 AIs, or 4 AIs, I mean. And I think this just highlights what I was trying to explain, that this is a very risk-esque type of game. There is player elimination, and my son didn't flip the table. He's actually not even that upset. He did say that he would continue playing because he promised he would, but he really wanted, what he did was he saw I got Outer Rim from FFG, and he wants to play that one instead. So anyways, I let him go. I guess I could have been a meaner dad, but so we're gonna go ahead and continue. We're on Era 2, and we still have quite a ways to go before the game ends. So like I said, anything can still happen, but right now it's my game to lose. That's basically what I'm trying to explain. And I already picked my 2 cards for the round, and I am the first player because I was the last one to crusade, as you can see. And I did get the Crusader achievement, which is yet another point for me, victory point. And so we're rocking and rolling here. Sorry, I stopped for caffeine. All right. So I go first, and we're going to move the camera around. I think I got everything situated so I can play solo again. And I'm going to tax. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the tax revenue. And I need it because I had $0 in my hand. And then there's going to be an event. But let me grab the 6 revenue. Here's a 5 and a 6. Okay, and then it's oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're supposed to do marriages first. This shouldn't change, but we gotta resolve marriages. So I have Constance here, who's weak, but she's my heir to the throne. And there's a lot of choices out there of men with good traits to balance out the weakness. So I'm going to go ahead and try to marry I'm going to marry Henry here. And I don't have the money yet, so because I didn't do the tax action, so I don't have any extra money to make this a success. So I got to pray that this one is a success. I only get to draw 1, and I do. I do get it. In fact, I only have just a few red ones in my bag. My bag is in great shape, actually. So she's going to marry Henri here, and you put him, basically, the rules say to put him below, and just as long as you know they're together. And these don't go in the bag yet until I die, which is coming soon, by the way. We know for a fact that I'm at my old age, so the heir to the throne is important. Now, if you're playing a multiplayer game, one of the things I would recommend as a deep strategy in this, which can make the game balance out a little. So my complaint about how I'm in pole position really falls short because somebody, if they were smart, should try to murder my child. And then they should pay like multiple gold to make it happen, right? To guarantee that it's a success. All they have to do is murder my child, and then I'm back in the same boat that everybody else is. And remember, I have no ability to create children. Actually, I do. There is one card I just drew. Not this one, because that's for the next player. But it's the Crusade. I can get one through this Crusade card for myself. However, this is a rare card to get. So otherwise, you know, it's pure luck. But yes, if the AI was smart, they would murder my child before I age one more time, and they would succeed at ruining my stronghold on the game. So that's something important. So if you were playing this multiplayer, I think there's a better chance of making sure that one player doesn't run away with the game. Now, also with that being said, if you're playing multiplayer, I am absolutely convinced that this game would suffer from a kingmaker element. And kingmaker mechanics, by the way, or the games that have kingmaker components in it, are usually games that I will play once and not come back. I think if I was playing a 5-player multiplayer version of this, I would for sure experience that kingmaker feeling that I don't enjoy in a game. Because kingmaker is all about, you know, convincing somebody to choose you over someone else, and I just frankly don't enjoy that at all. I couldn't say that enough. All right, so back to this. So the next player is going to give birth to a healthy child, but the mother is going to die. And they get a random character card and a random trait, but the mother is lost. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to do marriages for everybody else. Let's go through this. So for Italy there, I just realized I put the board upside down. So Italy's going to try to get married. Germany has to try. And then Spain is not going to do anything. So and then France can't do anything. So Italy first. It is a queen running Italy, so she's going to try to find a king, and there's plenty of them. There's Hugo here, Hugo the Scholar. So we're going to go ahead and draw a token, or 2 tokens, because remember, he's AI now, so he always draws 1 more. Oh, crap. One of our bags just dumped tokens. Okay, I got it sorted out. All right, so Italy's going to draw 2, and we're going to try to marry this Hugo guy. All right, so ambitious and brave. So they do succeed. So this Hugo Scholar is going to go into Italy's bag. And Hugo, of course, is going to move over to the spell slot. And I'll just keep him upside down. It's no big deal. All right, next is Germany, also needing a male spouse. And believe it or not, we're actually running out of them. I forgot to check. Italy marries Strong, Cruel, and Swordmaster first. So there is no Strong, Cruel, or Swordmaster. So then closest territory. So we actually did it correctly. No worries there. This, by the way, has a pact with Italy. This one, believe it or not, has a pact with me. And then now we're going to do Germany here. So Germany is Municio here. Focus on children of players. That's right, because he always wants to be at peace. So the only one who has a casus belli on him is Spain, and Spain doesn't have any children. So he's not going to get away with that. Marry only spouses with green traits in independent territories. And this is another issue. There is no green male spouse available. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, the executive decision that a spouse is better than nothing. And we'll at least take the chances of a probability of getting green. So we're going to go ahead and inbreed here. And that's Bertha. We're drawing a bunch of girls. There we go. Conrad is the new spouse. And here's the random. Oops. It's Rowdy. So didn't really work out in his favor. He would have been better off with one of these other ones. Okay, so now we're finally done with all the marriages. Sorry about that. I could also make her a duchess. I'm not going to, but that's an option in the game. Okay, so now the death by childbirth. So this is going to impact Italy, who just got married. And believe it or not, Italy's king is dying. Because Italy has a queen right now. So the queen is going to die, but not until she gives childbirth, so there will be a succession to the throne. So let me stand up and walk towards Italy here. Okay, so both the wife and the spouse are dead. Well, the wife is dead. The spouse just moves on. And the child is Margarita, but the child's going to be the new queen. And there is no succession crisis because she had the baby right before she died, or at the same time. So whenever you do the succession check, there was an heir to the throne. So that's not an issue. But once again, Italy has no spouse. So they can't produce children until the next round. Oh, and then they get a trait. So let's draw that. And timid is going into Italy's bag. So that's the new trait there. All right, moving on. Let's come back to the board. It is now Italy's turn. So Italy is going to mobilize and invade, which they're going to invade a territory under control of an opposing player where 2 or more successes is needed. And oh my gosh, look at this. This is awful. Okay, so 2 or more successes. Well, we know they need 2 successes to conquer Germany up there. And that's really the only one that they're next to. So they're going to go for that. And so they're going to, because Germany is considered to always be mobilized. So they are going to draw 3 tokens and they need 2 successes. So here's number 1, success. Number 2 is a fail. And number 3 is a fail. So Italy failed at taking over Germany there. That actually would have been devastating to Germany and actually devastating to Italy because this event is going to hurt them. It would have hurt them more if they would have taken over 1 more territory. They would have lost 3. Your king is wounded on the battlefield. Make a trait check. If you have the court physician card, you can spend gold for extra draws. If you fail, you get a weak trait. So I guess the king may not die here. Now, one thing that's important is since we did that check, these 3 tiles, they don't go back in the bag until the end of his turn, okay? So these are not in his bag when we draw for this check. Just remember that, okay? And he passed. Actually, having those in the bag would have, well, no, look at this. Oh my gosh. This is what was in his bag. So, I mean, he had a 40% chance, but that's Italy. Okay, so his king didn't die, or queen in his case. So that's good. And the turn is over for Italy. Now we move to France. France is going to plot or overthrow, and for France, that means he wants to bribe a counselor. Nope. He wants to overthrow a territory in unrest. Nope. He wants to manufacture a casus belli. Okay, he has no casus belli, so he's going to try to manufacture a casus belli. So let's draw tokens. I believe these need tokens. Let me check. Yes, it does. So we're going to see if he succeeds, and then we'll figure out who he did it on. All right. He does succeed. And who's he going to get the casus belli on? It says, doesn't say who, but if he were to go to war, he wants to go to war with anybody who has, so I'm going to say he's going to take a casus belli against me because he wants to go to war with anybody who only requires 1 success. So I'm going to put my emblem down there and say he's going to have a casus belli against me. All right, and then a royal coup. It requires a sibling or a child. He has neither, so we skip all that. That would have been pretty nasty for him. So, moving on to Germany. Okay, Germany wants to do a plot overthrow now, and let me check. Overthrow a territory that's in unrest. He wants to murder a child with a green trait on the board of the player who has the fewest heirs. There is no child with green trait anywhere in the game. Murder the king on the board who has the fewest heirs. Ooh, that is an intriguing one. That would be anybody but me. So let's figure out which king. Well, let's see if he succeeds first. Then we'll figure out what king. So in order to murder a king, you have to get 3 successes. And so in this case, he's going to draw 4 tokens. So this is going to be a little difficult for him. So let's see. Here's token 1. That is a success because see the little dagger? That is a critical skill. So that's 1 success. There's 2 successes. That is a fail. And of course I didn't draw 1 more. So now I'm making it super suspenseful. Oh my gosh, he succeeded. So somebody's king is dying this winter's eve. All right, thank goodness it's not me. That's all I have to say. All right, so Italy will be 1-2, France will be 3-4, and Spain will be 5-6. Oh my gosh. It is Italy. So Italy is just not surviving this day. Okay, so Italy, of course, is now in a secession crisis. So it would lose half of its gold, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this little guy. And my son Jason would be in absolute tears right now. And we're gonna go ahead and destroy these two. He went from having all 8 knights out there to having only 2. That's just brutal. Okay. Okay, so we have a few minor things we have to do because territory is cleaned up. And all right, so the new Italy king is Goffredo. Is that really a name? Goffredo? Is that the Italian version of Jeff? You know, my name is Jeff, and I don't think I've ever heard of Goffredo, and I come from an Italian family. Gismondi, or Gismondi is how they pronounce it, is my Italian family's last name, and Goffredo Gismondi. It does have a nice ring to it. Nobody ever told me there was a Goffredo version of my name. There's Hefe, right? Okay, so this is Germany's turn, right? Yes. So the next player starts using a more efficient crop rotation, 3 harvest tokens in a territory under his control. Okay. So the next player is actually Spain. And these harvest tokens are not, there's not even enough in the game. That's how bad this is. Because Germany had them. So I will go ahead and put harvest tokens there. It really doesn't matter. I'm never going to get this deep into Spain, and I'm the only one that could ever benefit from a harvest token. Another one of those things that the AI just doesn't get to benefit from. Okay, so we're moving on to Spain now. They're going to build and develop. And what does a lustful guy build and develop? He wants to buy 2 defensive development cards or build a castle. Okay, so let's look at this. 2 defensive. Nope. So the cards, by the way, are he has Chancellor, Spy Master, and Navy. So none of those are going to fit the bill. So we're going to go ahead and grab a castle, and I'm going to put it in the one that's closest to the enemies, closest to us. And then, look at this. The marriage of the next player's king is usually happy and loving. Remove 1 age token. That's me. So I actually get to take an age token off of my king. That's quite awesome. All right, so we live another day, and the game is... Although that just gives them more time to murder my child, right? All right, so it's back to my turn. And I am going to do the crusade. So that was an important one. And I was going to pick the one that let me have the healthy child. In fact, the child was going to be really strong and start with a green trait. It was a really awesome one. But I thought this one was even better. And I have the Archbishop, which allows me to do a second crusade this era. That's the only reason I'm able to play this card. And then the other thing is it lets me draw 2 tokens. For success, I need at least 1. And I'm going to make sure I succeed, so I'm going to spend 1 gold and take 4 back. And I'm going to make sure I draw 3 tokens, and I just need 1 success. So 3 tokens hopefully will be enough. And I do have to send somebody on this, so I'm sending my son-in-law, not me, on this, and I passed the first draw. Didn't even need to spend the money. And I've drawn that one several times now. Okay, so my Crusaders make fast progress. I get to place 1 additional Dynasty Shield on a Crusade track, so I get another progress. So this is both amazing and rule-breaking at the same time. And I'll explain to you in a second what that means. The game rules say you're supposed to do a crusade once every era. The game rules also say you can never have more than 4 crusade tokens on the board. And so I have 4 tokens on the board. So in the 3rd era, how do I crusade in the 3rd era? I have no idea. It says I must. So it's a really weird thing. But the one bad thing about this is I am getting 2 red tokens in my bag. Now, what I got was I have -1 gold to upkeep. That's this one right here. And then that one is +1 gold per castle when taxing. It'd be really nice if I had a castle. But so I'm getting some nice economic bonuses right now. Okay, moving on. Italy is mobilizing and invading. Italy has... Well, remember when we attacked Germany? Italy didn't have a casus belli against Germany. So that was an illegal action anyways. He failed, so it doesn't matter. But it was illegal for him to do. So what Italy's going to do now is just try to take some territory. So we're going to go ahead and try to take this one down here. So Italy is drawing 2 and succeeds. Okay, so this token, he's succeeding down here. So this guy goes away, as does his token. And then Italy gets to get a knight back onto the board. Like so. Okay, sorry, just trying to move stuff around here. Okay, now Italy's event is your warmongering scares lesser princes. Next player may immediately make a pact with an independent territory closest to a territory under his control. Okay, so the next player is France. And so he can make a pact with someone, and so he will go ahead and I'm going to assume it has to be someone who doesn't already have a pact, so I don't think he can steal this one, but he's going to go ahead and do a pact with this guy. All right, moving on to France. They're going to mobilize and invade. Okay, so France's AI is going to he wants to invade territories where other players have a pact first. So even though he has a casus belli against me, I'm not his first choice. And he has actually several choices. He has this one here and that one there. So we're going to go ahead and roll 1, 2, Well, you know what? We're going to just assume that since I'm winning, he's going to go after mine. Although this thing is happening. So technically he's not there. So we're going to have to do this one. Yeah, it's going to have to be that. So blue succeeds. And then what's happening is Italy now has a casus belli against France. So I'm going to put a token under the casus belli column because France wasn't playing nice. And France gets Swabia. All right. Agents of the next player make a daring raid. They steal 2 gold and cause unrest, which doesn't do anything against France. I do sort of wish that the unrest and stuff would have been a factor in the solitaire game, but I understand the simplicity. So here is German's turn. They're going to build and develop, so let me check. Oh, they are for sure building a castle. So they already have 1. Do they have to do a check? Yes, they do. So here we go. They fail. Oh my gosh. They did. They failed to build a castle. All right. And then a ship carrying exotic goods. You must give this player 2 gold. Well, it's just Italy, or I'm sorry, Spain. So there's no gold to exchange. And now we go to Spain. Italy's turn. I keep saying Italy. Spain. Uh-oh, this is not going to be good. All right, so he's going to mobilize and invade. The lustful guy invades independent territory with which the AI has a pact. So he has no pacts. Independent territory where another player has a pact. So he's definitely invading my territory there. No question about that. So that will give me a casus belli against him. Drawing. Oh my gosh. Mr. Lustful just failed the check. So he did not win, and I get to, well, I keep a pact there. It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't score me any points. So this is me. A child is born, but its parent is not the married spouse. The player draws a random character card for his culture, and then the child gets the bastard trait. Okay. So let's figure this out. So my child 2 is Marcus. And I'm assuming this is going to be a red trait. There's drunkard, there's ugly, there's weak, ignorant. There it is. Bastard. All right. All right, now that brings us to the end of the round. So I have to pay only 1 gold now for upkeep because my Crusader token reduces my upkeep by 1. And I'm going to take a quick caffeine drink. Okay. And we have to do marriages. So Italy for sure needs to get married. There's a lot of women out there that have green tokens. So he's going to pick one. And it doesn't matter which one, but I think he's going to go after this one because it's not adjacent to other people. And he needs a success. So we just drew 2 tokens and they failed. Oh no! Italy failed to get married. France can't do anything. Germany can't do anything. Spain can't do anything. But we gotta not forget an important step. Everybody ages by 1. So in the case of Germany And France and Italy, that is just one era or one round. Spain is on its third. And believe it or not, I get my fourth one a second time. And yes, folks, it triggers every time. So I get to remove a token again. Isn't that pretty sweet? That event was awesome. So I get to get rid of another red one. So these ones, this one can help me when I do an intrigue action, which I hardly ever do in this game, as you may have noticed. This one is just bad all around. This one's good in certain situations. So I think I'm going to get rid of the bad all around. So this is a starting skill, so don't mix it in with the other stuff. And yeah, I got rid of another red token from my bag. Sweet. All right, moving back to the game. We're in... How is it that I have 7 cards? Oh, that's right, because I got extra cards from... there was a card that let me draw 2 extra, and then I get extra cards because of my Crusade token. So this is the final round of the era. And I would love to play the Crusade, but I can't do a third time. So this card is out. Invading is actually not bad, because that'll allow me to take territory, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and do a mobilize invade. And then the question becomes, should I tax or should I build and develop? This would allow me to build a castle. I think I'm going to tax. One more time. Should I? If I build a castle, it's going to cost me 3 gold, and I only have 4 to my name. So yeah, I have to tax one more time. So all these cards are going to be out of the game. So you theoretically could start just putting them away now. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. So forgive me, my left arm is causing me some troubles. So I'm a little slow at times compared to what I used to be able to do. I really would have liked to build that castle, but I just never have a lot of money in this game. It's not something... I always want to guarantee my successes, and I never do well. Okay, so... I'm still first, so I'm going to go ahead and go first. And I am going to mobilize, invade. And we're going to try to invade this neutral territory, or actually, I don't think it matters. I mean, we could invade Scotland, but we're going to go ahead and invade Ireland. And I do need a success, so I'm going to spend 1 gold to draw 2. And remember, when you're invading, it's the sword, so cruel is actually a critical success for us. And here's my first one. Oh, I got it already. I had a cruel in there. I know I had at least 1. Okay, so I do succeed. So that means Mr. Red Knight comes to the table. And remember, I could pillage, meaning that I'm going to take 2 gold from Ireland. I would still get to put a knight there, but I would take 2 gold and then put an unrest token. But I'm just going to take the territory. The unrest tokens, the AI sort of gets to take advantage of that a lot. So I don't want to lose the territory. This is guaranteed win if I can just hold on to my stuff. Okay, and then the event is a child is born for Italy, but they require a spouse. And remember, they failed their spouse check. So neener, 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 Italy gets nothing. So now we move to Italy's turn. And they're going to build and develop. So for Italy, that means development cards that improve chances to invade and create unrest. That is actually something Italy can do. So Italy has room for one invention and one counselor. Well, there's a spy master that will help create unrest, and the Navy helps invade. So he's going to go ahead and take both of those. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any achievements or anything because France already took it. Now, this doesn't apply to him because he doesn't have a spouse. So he doesn't have to worry about that negative effect. And now we move on to France. France is doing their crusade, so we have to keep track. Italy hasn't done theirs, neither has Germany or Spain. So everybody has to do a crusade once in this final round. So if it's not this turn, like in the case of Italy, next turn is absolutely has to be a crusade card. So for France, he's sending his king, or his spouse is going. And so let's draw for France. It's just 2 tokens. And he succeeds. Okay, so France succeeded. So if we go over to here, France takes this one, which normally would give +1 success needed by invading enemy. Ooh. So he's super powerful there. And then the church is pleased with your progress in the Holy Land and lets you influence the next time you marry. Your next marriage attempt will automatically succeed. Save this card as a reminder. I'll go ahead and save it. I don't know if he's ever going to get a chance again. Now we move to Germany, and they are building and developing. So Germany's build and develop is they're going to build a castle. I think they failed last time, so we're trying again. And this time they succeed. So the castle is, go ahead and put it there. They need 3 castles to get the achievement, so they're not quite there. And then for Spain, a child is born. Draw a random character and a random trait. So Spain is finally going to get an heir. I think that might be the first one in the entire game. Actually, no. I think they hadn't. No, it is the first one. Because he kept divorcing his spouse. So here we go. Beatrice. All right, and the random token shall be Beatrice the Just. Yeah, see, after having lustful parents, I mean, you end up growing up kids that are straight as an arrow. Okay, so that was who? That was Germany. So that means Spain is next. They are building and developing. And I know we just did this, but I can't remember. They want to buy defensive developments. That's a court physician, and that's a library. I don't think any of those are defensive. So then they're going to try to build a castle. Well, that part they don't mind. And they failed to build the castle. Holy cow, Spain does not have a lot of good tokens in his bag. All right, the king of the next player has a usually strong bond with his children. Remove an age token. So that means, folks, I'm going to get a 4th age token again if I stay alive. Oh, that is so funny. So look, I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong, but that's where the swingy luck stuff happens in this game. I mean, it's just complete swingy mode. But it's no different, I guess, than drawing an event card. And okay, so it's back to me. Actually, it's now France's turn because France did the last crusade. So they go first. So we're going to start with France. This is the final round of Era 2. So they're going to mobilize and invade, which means for them it's invade. And I believe they want to go after neutral territory. Yeah, where another player has a pact. I don't know what the rules are with this and this guy half down. Otherwise, they can't do it. Then they're going to annex a territory that would be theirs. Oh yeah, they can do that. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's less controversial. So Spain is going to go ahead and annex this, and no check is required when you have a pact with the neutral. So we're going to go ahead and just get rid of all the cards. Oh, stretch. That was a big stretch. Okay, crackdown. The next player may remove all unrest tokens, which doesn't matter. The AI is not impacted. Okay, Germany has to crusade. No bones about it. So we're just going to draw until we get to their crusade card. So it's the final card here. So crusade for Germany is just a 2-token draw. And they do succeed. See right there, cruel. That's a critical success for crusade. It's got the little cross. Okay, so Germany does succeed. And so they get their second crusade token on, and they get another cruel token. And Germany, by the way, has +1 trait draw at invade. So he gets to draw an extra card anytime he invades anybody. And then he has this one. Evidence found in the Holy Land proves that the member of the next player's royal family with the lowest card number, not the king, is a heretic to be burned at the stake. The execution cannot be stopped if the target player has the martial development card and makes a successful trait check. Oh, it can be stopped. You cannot spend gold. All right, so that means that means Beatrice the Just is being burned at the stake for being the only one in the land who's pure. The medieval times were so dark. It's not even funny. Those people, ignorant fools. All right. So thematically, it does capture that. All right, well, Spain lost its heir. And now we go to Spain, who, of course, has to... And never mind me, I'm just trying to clean up for the end of the era here. So Spain has to do a crusade, and the other cards are just being piled up. All right, so let's draw for Spain. 2 tokens, and Spain failed. Oh no. So what happens is their king dies. So H tokens go away, these 2 cards go away because their king died, and now they're in a secession crisis again. And then this is the new king, 1. And he would have gotten 2 gold, so that doesn't do him any good. So Spain failed, and what that means is actually we're going to go to Era 3. There was a chance that we weren't. I can't remember where Spain's tokens go. Oh, here they are. They had really nice plastic trays for all the miniatures, but the plastic trays can be cumbersome because when you take all the miniatures out of the tray, it's really hard to remember which tray handles this versus that or whatever, So what I was trying to explain is the game ends when somebody gets to Jerusalem. But there's only one more player that can crusade this turn, and that's Italy. And because Spain failed, we're not going to get to Jerusalem. This game would have ended in Era 2. So moving on to me, I'm doing the tax action, like we said. And I will lose 1 gold, and I have to place an unrest token in my territory. Unless I have the martial development card, which I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this away. And I'm going to just take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get 6 gold. I normally get 7, but I have to pay 1. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 6 gold, and I will put the unrest token in Ireland, which is thematic, right? So we'll go ahead and do that. And my turn's over. And then, of course, it is the crusade for Italy. And Italy does have the archbishop, so they get to draw an extra token. And we're going to go ahead and draw 3. And they do succeed, but barely. The other one was a red that would have been a fail. Okay, so Italy succeeds, and we put the token for Italy down. And this is the Siege of Jerusalem, +1 trait draw at invade and +1 success needed by an invader. So anybody who attacks Italy needs to have an extra success, and then of course Italy gets +1 draw. Now, they would have a child, but they're not married, so this gets ignored. We're at the end of the era, so I got to clean up the era, which, don't forget, you have to pay your upkeep. Everybody's going to age by 1, and then all these cards have to get replenished. And then I'm going to put all these cards away. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome. I guarantee you that I'm going to take my turn and do a crusade and end the game immediately. So this is not going to last much longer. Thanks for watching.